When you stop caring about what people may think of you, what could happen if you make the wrong decision, and you really become fearless, you start opening up opportunities for you in your life that you cannot even imagine. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you how to not be afraid anymore, because it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to not be really scared, to become fearless. And so in this episode, I'm going to tell you about the most simplistic way to really become fearless. And I'm also going to tell you how to make your life go in the right direction and eliminate all the problems in your life by solving the first bottlenecks in your life. Kind of a similar approach in business, but applied to your life. I'm going to tell you how to do it. And you can, what do you know? There's a circus that makes his head in my intro. That's the worst moment to make an intro. Wait a second. Alright, and so in this episode, I'm going to tell you about how to become fearless and really make your life go in the right direction, succeed, and feeling truly free. Because if you're new here, welcome. My name is Ivaldi Sako. I'm the founder of OriGrowth.com. I went from being a broke personal trainer in France from a poor immigrant family to working now with millionaires around the world and building up my own business up to 7 figures soon. And on this podcast, I just document what I learn document my journey on becoming truly free and successful, making my life really the best life I can, and being free not only financially but free emotionally, free from any fears, free from all of it, emotional freedom, spiritual freedom, physical freedom. I want all of the freedom that I can have, right? If you want the same thing, subscribe, because I tell you exactly what I learn so that you don't have to suffer as much as I do. And it's going to help you if you're an entrepreneur, or if you just want simply to grow in your life, become the best possible person you can be. That's for you. Subscribe and let's get into it. So I'm going to give you the 10 lessons I got in the sequence I got in this week, so you can kind of get a sense, and it's going to make sense the more I go through them, all right? So at first, I'm going to tell you about how to make your life go in the right direction. Then I'm going to tie this to not being afraid anymore, and really just have amazing things happen in your life because of your lack of fear. So let's get into it. To succeed, you must learn how to learn. That's the first lesson I got this week. I was reminded of this. Learn how to learn, because if you don't learn, you cannot acquire new skills. If you don't acquire new skills, you cannot change your life. And to learn, there's something very important, something that most people get wrong. And this is that they don't apply everything that their mentor or their professor or whatever, the people that knows more than them, they don't apply 100% of it. And the reason is that they have an ego. We have often an ego. I know I had really an ego about applying everything. I was applying most things, but not everything. And I had a friend of mine that, I'll tell you the story in a minute, but basically the thing is that when you go through a course, when you read a book, when you try to learn, you must, or someone tells you something, or you watch a YouTube video, you must ask yourself, why does this work? How does this work? Why does this actually work? And not, why wouldn't this work? Why wouldn't this work for me? A lot of people go through, read a book and say, okay, but this worked, but I don't believe him. I don't think it's going to work for me. How they find ways to make this information that they get irrelevant and not useful. When you ask yourself the question, it's often unconsciously you think, okay, but this is not going to work because of this. Because unconsciously in your mind you have this question that's, okay, why wouldn't this work for me? How could this not work for me? Flip the question and instead use this question. Why does this actually work? Oh, this works because of this and that. How could this actually work for me? then you can start actually learning, because you take this information as true information. Now, of course, you want to learn from someone that is at least a little bit credible, right? You don't want to learn from anybody that just doesn't do anything with their lives and they are just lying. But if they have some kind of proof that they know something that you don't, and they have achieved something that you want to achieve, you must trust them and trust that the information that they give you is relevant to you, and find ways on how this will actually work and why does this actually work, and not find this cop out, all these excuses that this is not going to work for me, because how could this not work for me? You flip the question, you ask yourself, how will this work for me? And the story I want to tell you about this is because the story I want to tell you about this is the story of me and my friend. I had taken a course on e-commerce. I was taking a course on e-commerce. It was like 4 years ago, I think, the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, something like that. Maybe a little bit before. And I didn't know it, but my friend had taken the same exact course. A year later, he hated it. He hated the guy. He said it was a scam. And he talked about it like it was a scam. Like, it's a scam. I like the guy, but he's a scam. Like, he doesn't, like, he promised things that were not, like, true. And I was like, what? I love the guy. And everything that he said was true. And I thought the course was amazing. And I was like, okay, what's the difference here? Well, I realized that he didn't actually apply it. He didn't apply anything. He didn't take action at all, right? Now, there's levels to this. So I did take action and I love the course. Now, I did this mistake. I made this mistake. I didn't apply 100% of it. Like at the T. Like I maybe have applied 99%. And actually, in the beginning, I was applying everything. But then, once I started learning, I started getting better. I started getting some results. I was like, I know better. I know exactly how to do this. I don't need to learn this, right? I don't need to apply this exact thing. It doesn't matter. Because I was thinking that I somehow knew more, when in fact I didn't. And so I applied 99%. And if I did apply 100%, I could have made so much more progress and made so much more money. So I did make money from this course. I did make a quite good amount of money from me at the time. My friend had not taken action. He didn't made any money. So for him, this course was a scam, because he was not applying everything. And maybe because he was thinking of, how could this not work for me? We were doing like Facebook ads, right? And so my ad account got shut down. Facebook, it doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. It's too competitive or anything like that. I was not finding this excuse in myself. To me, I was like, I'm going to make this work. Like, I have to make this work. So I'm going to actually apply what the guy tells me. But then in the midst of things, I got lost and I didn't apply 100% of it. I applied only like less than 90%. And so because of this, I started to have some blind spots. And so I didn't get as much results as I could have had. Yeah, forgive my English. So that's the first thing. Very important. Second, you must change your identity from I'm not the type of person who does this, I have never done that, to I know I will succeed because I was able to do some other things I didn't always know how to do, right? This is the identity shift. You must shift to your personality, your identity, like who you view yourself as. Because if you view yourself as the type of person that I'm not an entrepreneur, I've never done this, I'm not a millionaire, right? I don't know how to manage a team that makes millions. I don't know how to do that. This is not me. Well, you're not going to do the things that are going to actually help you get there. So if you want to get there, you must start viewing yourself and believing it's possible for you to become this person. And the proof that you need to remember is that at some point in your life, you were not like you are right now. At some point in your life, when you were a kid, you didn't know how to do something, and then you learned and you became better. And then you were able to do actually this thing. And so because of this, this is proof that you can actually learn anything. And to remember the proof, like sometimes it's hard for you to believe that you can do what some other human being has done, right? So if another human being became a billionaire, you can too. Now, it's very hard to believe because it's very easy to find excuse like, he's got a different situation, he's got a different story, he's got a different starting point, he's got a lot of excuses can happen. But if you have the proof in your own life, in your past, if this is true, then you can, if it's true that you were able to learn and become better and do something now that you were not able to do 5 years ago, this is the proof that you can now start trying to do something that you are not yet able to do because you're going to learn. And so you are going to be able to do something that you've never done now. So this is the growth mindset, basically. This is the growth mindset, and shifting your identity to this growth mindset is, I think, if you don't have it, it's not going to play well for you. And you need also the growth mindset to believe that you can become fearless, right? If you want to become fearless, you need to believe you can do something that will change yourself. And then once you have this identity, you must ask yourself, what's not going well in my life right now? What's not going how I would like it to? I'm not making as much money as I want to. I don't have the relationship I have. All these things, or I cannot get done everything that I wanted to get done in this day. This is not good. I don't like this. I want this to change. And so you start with this pain and this desire. Once you have this, you must make a list of everything that you don't like, right? You don't like in your life. You make a list, and then you look at this list. You read everything, and you tell yourself, all of this is my fault. This is my fault. This is my responsibility. And so because it is my responsibility, I'm actually going to do something about it, to change it. Because if you think it's the government, it's the family, it's the team, they're not good enough. If it's on them, then you cannot do anything to change it. And so you're just weak. You have no power. You're powerless. I don't like to be powerless. So you take responsibility. It's my fault. You look at this, you look at the truth, right? Then once you see the truth, okay, it's my fault. All of this is because I've done something or I haven't done something that puts me in this situation. And you must ask yourself, okay, how did I create this situation? And then you can reverse it. You can, okay, I wasn't able to do everything I wanted to get done today because I got distracted by letting someone else distract me. I let them distract me. It's not they distracted me, so I couldn't do the work because they were here. They were doing that. No, it's my fault. Because if it's not your fault, you cannot do anything about it. So you're just at the mercy of the world, of the exterior world, and you're never going to be able to do anything like this because it's just depending on, whatever happens, right? You live your life like randomly. It's not good. You need to take control. You need to be able to, okay, this is my responsibility. I can change this. Next time I will do this. And the best way I found for me to do that is every day at the end of the day, I journal. I ask myself, how will I improve next time? And so this makes me think of, okay, what did I not like in this day? And also, how, even on things I lacked, I try to improve. And so I find ways, okay, I could do this more efficiently. And then the next day you try to improve on this thing. Once you improve on this thing and you got it figured out, right? It becomes a habit. And so now you have increased your floor, right? Your baseline, you have increased it. And so now you became better. That's how you grow. And so once you take responsibility, you can actually change things. Now, I came across a quote that was extremely useful. It was on my tab, on my Google Chrome extension. It's called Momentum. It gives you a quote every day that you open your tab. It gives you a quote every day, right? A different quote. And so this week I had a quote that was from Seneca, right? One of the Stoics. And it said this: "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Think about it. Let me repeat it. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. So then, when I read this, I was like, what am I not daring? What should I dare to do that in not daring right now is making my life miserable? What am I not daring to do right now? Ask yourself this question. Try to come up with answers. Try to make a list. What am I hesitant about right now? What am I trying to not risk right now? What am I scared of going toward? To me, I came up with this answer. It was one of the answers. Dare to suffer. I'm scared of suffering. And so it is this thing that makes me, that prevents you from anything. Being scared of suffering. I think this was one of the main things that I was most scared of all my life. Suffering. Being uncomfortable. And it is by suffering that you become fearless. This is how you become fearless. This is the most simplistic way of becoming fearless. Suffering. Going through a lot of pain. A lot of it. And you put yourself through it consciously, willingly. Now, it might be a little bit in the beginning, but then you increase it and you increase it. And then once you get so much pain in, you get used to suffering. You almost become numb to the pain, right? You just don't care anymore. This happened. I had this like 4 or 5 years ago. I was into crypto, and I had a friend of mine that was making a lot of money, and he had a lot of money. I was completely broke, and yet I was playing with cryptos, right? Gambling, right? This is what the poor do. They gamble the money they don't have. And so I was into crypto. I was not necessarily gambling, but looking back on it, really, did I know really so much about it? No. Did I know a little bit about it? Could I just increase the odds of me to find a good crypto project and everything that was going to succeed? I think so. But still, in the main, this was not the way to just get wealthy. I wanted to get rich fast, right? Instead of getting rich for sure. Once I flipped it, this desire, I just went for becoming rich for sure. Then I started actually to make sustainable amount of money and a sustainable progress toward my goals. So I was into crypto, and I found a project that I knew I was like 100, not 100 because you can never be, I was like 99% sure that this is going to be blowing up. And this was going to be 100, 200. Actually, I remember it was a 220x. This was going to multiply your money by 220 times. And I didn't have the money to make this something life-changing. But I knew this return is completely insane. And I knew it was going to blow up. I knew the narrative I knew that like a lot of people had already invested, a lot of big people had already invested large amounts of money in this thing, and then it had gotten down, and I knew that really soon it was going to blow up. I knew it. I knew it. Even right now it almost gets me mad. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to ask my friend to put in $50,000 for him, or maybe put in $50,000 in total, 25 for him, 25 for me, because I found the project and he takes the risk. So, and for him, it was not that, like, he was making $300,000 a month, euros a month, and pretty profitable. Like, so it was like something that was not that like risky for him, and yet the returns could be like really good for him. And he was trying to invest into crypto at this time. So, and I had already made him like $10,000 or something like this. So I already had some kind of credibility for him, and I knew if I asked him, he was going to be down. It was not that big of a deal for him, and I had already made him money. So I thought about it, and then I hesitated. I didn't make the decision right away. Hesitation will kill you, let me tell you. And I was like, oh, I don't want to risk making him lose $50,000. And, is it like, why would I take 50% of this when he takes so much risk? And I just found this crypto, right? And then you guessed what happened. I didn't tell him, and the crypto actually blew up 220x. These $25,000 he was going to invest for me when I was completely broke. I had just one client as a personal trainer, and I was being paid 35 euros per week. That's it. Actually, no, 70 euros. 2 workout sessions per week at 35 euros an hour. I was broke. And I had just dropped out of college. I didn't, because I didn't want to become a personal trainer for somebody. So I didn't want the degree, the full degree actually. Anyway, and so I didn't tell him, and the crypto blew up. $25,000 euros times 220. I think it was like something like around 2 million or something, or maybe 5, between 2 and 5 million. And let me tell you, if it was just $100,000, it was going to change my life forever. It was like, I was broke. $100,000 would completely change my life. And we were talking about millions. I was so in such a pain. I was so mad at myself, so angry. I didn't care anymore. This suffering, like this mental suffering, this like realization, I was done. I was like, I don't care. I don't give a shit anymore. I couldn't care less about any kind of problem. I just lost the opportunity of a lifetime. My indecision cost me $2 freaking million. And so even now it gets me mad. Because even now it would be like life-changing money for me, like $2 to $5 million. Come on. And I was so mad. I left my phone in my apartment. I went to take a walk, and I was taking a walk looking at people like I don't give a like I didn't care. I was walking slow, and I could kill people here. I could just be so angry. I wouldn't be scared of anybody. If a group of like 10 big tall guys in the street in a bad neighborhood come to me, I would just not care at all. I would not be like just a little bit scared. No, I wouldn't have any kind of fear. I was just done. I was like, you know what? You want to kill me? Go ahead. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fight. I don't care. This was too much for me. This was too much suffering. I didn't care anymore. And you can create this kind of suffering willingly without losing $2 million, right? Without losing on this kind of money, just by putting yourself through suffering and being aware of this pain. For example, I knew I had this I had done this, especially in the beginning when I was going to the gym. I was really going hard, really going hard. I was feeling the pain and continuing throughout the pain, continuing reps and reps until failure. I was pushing myself really through my limits. And this suffering built up my confidence. I was like, if I can handle this, what could I be scared of? Like, come on, right? And also, when you build your physique, getting jacked, this is what I wrote down. Getting jacked makes you fearless because of how much pain you're able to take on. It creates conviction. When you do really hard workouts and build your body through suffering, you're not scared anymore of suffering, and you stop giving a shit. You stop caring. Or you do a martial art, for example. You fight, and you suffer a lot. And when you train very hard, and you get hit. You suffer. You feel the pain. Or you're extremely disciplined, and every time you try to do something, you don't care, and you just work, and you push yourself, and you suffer physically and or mentally. This builds you up. This makes you care a lot less about everything else, because everything else pales in comparison with this amount of suffering. One example that you can have is, for example, when you hurt somewhere in your body. For example, you have a really bad knee or something. When you injure yourself somewhere else, this pain takes off the pain of the knee. This pain, for example, if you injure yourself in the arm, in the forearm, and you feel the pain, it's very hard. For a moment, you forgot about the other pain because it paled in comparison with this one. And so this is the same kind of thing that happens when you suffer a lot in your life. Go through suffering. And when you go through suffering, you become fearless, because in comparison, what could happen, right? People are going to talk bad about you. People might think something. Oh, this is very very scary, right? No, it's not scary anymore, because you just went through so much pain. It just doesn't matter. And I think this is also why most people, when they grow older, they become more fearless because of their experiences. They go through more suffering. They lose people. I remember when I lost my cousin, I really stopped caring. I was like, whatever. Like, what? He's dead. Like, what matters now? Like, I don't. Like, wow, people are going to talk bad about me. Whatever. I don't care. He's dead. Any kind of suffering makes you care less about the other kind of, the suffering, the less painful suffering, basically. And so when you go through you go and you run and you go through your limits. I remember I had a marathon, something like this in college, to become a personal trainer. And I had to run so much, and I was so bad at my cardio. I was so bad at running for long periods of time. Endurance was not my thing. I was more like a strength kind of guy, or explosivity. I was fast, but I was not endurance. I could not stand running for a long time. And then I ran for a long time. I don't remember how much it was, but it was very long. It was like a big marathon for all of the college campus. And I was so bad at it. It was so hard. At the end, I was shaking. I wanted to throw up. I never throw up. I really was feeling bad. I didn't know, after I did this, I didn't know how to stop. I just wanted to stop suffering. I wanted my legs to stop shaking. I wanted the pain to go away. I was so much in pain. And then once I did this, first of all, I felt so great about myself. I felt so proud of myself. I was like, wow, I could do this. I can do anything. And then this pain, it almost anchors your level of pain at such a high level that everything else in comparison, it pales. And so this is the one of the best things you could do. Now, this is on suffering. This is on becoming fearless. And I also have some other things that are related to it. Because once you are fearless, you can do some other things. And here's what you can do. So, you can ask yourself, what's your first bottleneck in your life? So, this is a question I asked myself because I had a bad day. I was like, okay, what is right now the first bottleneck in my life? And a bad day and a bad period and a bad season in general. Like, not really productive. You know, I just mostly stayed in my comfort zone and being very distracted. So I was like, okay, what's the first bottleneck in my life right now? Then you ask yourself multiple times the question why, to find out the true deep reason, the true cause, and maybe the multiple causes. So, what's the first bottleneck in my life? I'm not getting things done. Why? I'm getting distracted. Why? I'm not disciplined enough. Why? Because I forgot why I'm doing what I'm doing. And this is really important. You need to remember the true core reason why you must succeed, why you want these goals. The stronger your reason, the more likely you are going to achieve your goals. And so you must figure out what's your why and what's your first bottleneck and solve these. And then, what's the second bottleneck? Just like in business. You have a first thing. Okay, the first thing is that nobody wants to buy my thing, right? This is the first thing that, okay, I'm not selling something that people want. All right, solve this. Now, I'm not talking to enough people for them to want to buy my stuff, right? Like, I just talk to 10 people a week. It's not enough. I need to talk to more people. And so I need to send more messages. All right, once I send more messages, all right, from all of these, not a lot of people are buying. Like, I just one or two. Okay, I need more. How do I make this more? Okay, increase my sales conversion rate. Okay, a lot of people are buying my thing, but they're not staying with us. For example, if you have some like kind of service when people stay for long periods of time, they're not staying enough. They just stay for 2 months and then they leave. Why? My service is not good enough. I must get better results. I must take care better of my clients, right? So you first solve the first bottleneck and then you go to the second one. And do not make the mistake that I really often make, is focusing, like being aware too much of all of the problems that come your way in the future. Like, focus on just the first problem, the first bottleneck right now in front of you. Solve this first, and then you'll figure out how to solve the other ones. Then you take care of the next one, because then if you do it like I often do it, I often make this mistake. I just get overwhelmed, like seeing all of the problems that come my way. Like, okay, once this is done, I will have to do this, and then once this is done, I will have to do that. Okay, once I sold my offer, and I need to deliver. To deliver, I need to have this kind of person. I need to hire this person. And all these problems make you feel overwhelmed and make you stay without doing anything. Like, make you stay in your comfort zone and not taking action, and procrastination. So what you must do is you need to focus first on the first bottleneck. You solve that, and then you get to the next one, and then to the next one, step by step. Do not rush it, and trust. To be able to do this, you need to trust that you'll figure it out. You need to trust that, okay, it's going to happen in time. I do not need to figure out all of the answers right now. Just the first answer is enough, and then the second one. That's it. And then this is the second biggest thing that I learned this week, is the power of saying yes. Yes. I came to this, I had this reminder because I watched the movie with Jim Carrey called Yes Man. The Yes Man. And basically the movie is about him always saying no to everything. He always says no, no, to anything that anybody asks of him. He just says no. This is his default. He's just like going through life, same day every day, his routine, and he's imprisoned, he's enslaved by his job and his routine, because he does not say yes. Even in his career. His boss asks him to, like, he's doing a pretty good job. He wants to promote him, and he says no. No, I'm not. No, it's okay. I don't want to. If there's this other guy, just give it to him. That's it. It's cool, right? And so you prevent yourself from growing because you don't say yes. And oftentimes this comes from your identity as well, and so you need to shift it. And so in the movie, he goes to a seminar. It's very funny. It's very just like in the personal development industry and also the business industry kind of. He goes to a seminar, and the guru says to him, you need to say yes. And in the beginning he says no, and he's just like, he's got this big peer pressure of everybody saying no man, no man, no man, and he's like, he tries to stop saying no, and he tries to say like maybe and then at the end he makes him the guru makes him say yes, and then he makes him try to do it better, and he kind of sell him on this idea, and he basically tells him his story. He tells him, okay, this is what happened in your life. This is your life right now. You're just going through life, and he doesn't know him, but he knows exactly what happens when you say just no, or just say no, and you just imprison yourself. And so then he gets emotional. He starts saying yes, and then yes, the guru tells him, say it like you mean it, make me believe it. And he says yes. He's screaming yes, yes, and then he starts saying yes. He makes a covenant, right? I will start saying yes from now on to everything. And this is basically the kind of the thing of the movie, the plot of the movie. He says yes to everything, and it brings him great opportunities. It creates him a great life. Now, at one point, he goes a little bit too far away into it because he said absolutely everything, and so then he had to dial it back a little bit. But then, by going to the extreme, he was able to start saying yes more. And he was able to change. So I really believe that this is really something that when you want to change, you need first a period in which you go to the extremity, to the extreme way of doing things. You want to become more disciplined, go extreme discipline for quite a while. And then you dial it back down. Then you dial it back down to a point where it's healthy and you don't get the negative consequences of being so disciplined. For me, for example, I went in my diet, I went carnivore, full in carnivore, nothing else but just meat. I just ate meat, salt, and water. This is the only thing that went into my mouth for 3 months straight. Once I did this, I dialed it back down. Okay, I started eating rice a little bit, right? I did rice, I did some other things, and this way I was able to not only heal and be able to be more disciplined in my diet and have a better diet in an easier way than if I, in a faster way as well, than if I just try to, okay, I'm going to eliminate sugar, I'm going to eliminate this food, this vegetable, this thing. I went all in completely for 3 months, and then I dialed it back down. But the power of saying yes is just insane. When you say yes to opportunities, like it's actually God working for you in your life. God presents you opportunities. God works through the people, all the universe, whatever you believe in. I'm Christian, and it prevents you. It presents to you opportunities. And when you say no, you just basically prevent yourself from being helped by God. And sometimes you need to say yes. You need to put yourself in this situation, in this suffering. And it's a lot easier to say yes when you are suffering. When you are suffering, you have less fear. When you have less fear, it's easier to say yes. When you say yes, you open up a lot of opportunities in front of you. You just create a whole different world. Your capacity for luck increases so much that you just get luckier and luckier. You just get very lucky because of just you accepting the opportunities. And this also comes from you believing that you are worthy. You are worthy of having this opportunity. Sometimes if people don't believe they have this identity, that they're not the type of person that makes millions, when someone is going to propose to buy from them at $1 million, they're going to reject that. They're going to think, oh, no, it's not worth it. Or when they say it's not worth it, it's just like they are not worth it themselves. So then you need to believe that you are worth it. And to believe that you are worth it, you need to put in the work and suffer. So it all ties down together. It's all related. Suffer, become fearless, believe you're worthy, say yes, and see your life change, man. You can just see your life change.